Hey everyone, Shabby Gamer here, and welcome back to the WWE 2K16 Universe Mode. And this, which is going to be our next episode of Raw is War for the Attitude Era roster. As you can see, we're now only 2 days away from our first pay-per-view, which is going to be Backlash. Let's have a quick look at tonight's card, though. We're going to start things off with Finlay taking on D'Lo Brown, and this is going to be a European Championship #1 contendership match. Our second match is going to be the Undertaker taking on Rikishi. Match number 3 is going to be an Intercontinental Championship #1 contendership match, as Diamond Dallas Page takes on Chris Jericho, and that's a Falls Count Anywhere match. We're going to have an elimination tag match between the tag team champions, the world's greatest tag team, Shelton, Benjamin, and Charlie Haas, and they're taking on the #1 contenders, the Dudley Boyz, in an elimination tag team match. We've got the current Intercontinental Champion, William Regal, taking on Kevin Nash. We're going to see Sting taking on Psycho Sid. And then our main event is going to be the WWE Champion, Batista, and the World Heavyweight Champion, Edge, taking on the two #1 contenders. So without further ado, let's get straight into our first match. And like I said, our first match is going to be the European Championship #1 contendership match, as Finlay takes on D'Lo Brown. And here we go, we are underway, and congratulations to me, because I remembered to turn the microphone on today. Yay! Yeah, if you didn't see my my Ring of Honor episode yesterday, I forgot to switch the microphone on, and I had to re-record audio over the top of the video, and it got very messy. It took me twice as long to do as it normally does, but hopefully the final product was essentially more in theory. And I'm looking forward to this one. Of course, Attitude Era is one of the only 2 brands that has a full 7-match card every single week. That's mainly because of the size of the roster and the fact that we currently have 7 championships on the go as well. Of course, once we get the downloadable content that brings us Trish and Lita as well, we will be bringing the Women's Championship in. We'll be downloading quite a few women into that roster. I've seen a Victoria already, who's quite good actually. I quite like that Victoria, so we're definitely getting her. We'll be getting Gail Kim as well, and that's mainly because it's an idea we've had for Global Force Wrestling. Myself, it was Jay Freeman as well in the comments, and Nick Aitken recently as well. Have all discussed about having a women's division in Global Force Wrestling, and I thought by having somebody like Gail Kim, it means that we can use it in the Attitude Era and Global Force Wrestling as well. That's what I'm really trying to do this year, is just trying to have a lot of guys and obviously women as well on our downloaded content, which are going to be able to fit into a lot of different rosters. Big clothesline there by Finlay as well. So yeah, that's an idea we've got. Just trying to think of the other women we could probably use as well here in the Attitude. I'm trying to think, apart from Trish and Lita, none of the female wrestlers from the Attitude Era really jump out at me off the top of my head. Of course, we've got Stephanie already on the game as well, so she'll be in there, of course, representing DX. So she might get a little bit of help, shall we say? Have to wait and see what happens on that one, of course. But yeah, apart from that, I'm sure Ivory's available. I've seen Ivory. I'll maybe say someone like Molly Holly as well, or along them sort of lines, as Finlay here with a pin on D'Lo Brown. Of course, Finlay is the current tag team partner of William Regal, who was the former European champion. Of course, if you didn't see last week's episode, Regal defended his championship on the very first episode of Raw is War, and lost that belt to Eddie Guerrero. So Eddie Guerrero is going to defend his European Championship in a couple of days' time. Like I say, he's only had the belt now for a week, and he's having to defend it already at the big pay-per-view. Of course, we are going to have a pre-show as well for Backlash, so be sure to keep an eye out for that. I have already, I'm pretty much sorted for Backlash now. I think I've got the entire card already done. We're going to have a Hardcore Championship match, of course. We're going to have European Championship, Tag Team Championship, Cruiserweight, Intercontinental, World Heavyweight, WWE, they're all going to be there. Cruiserweight Championship, I think I'm not really going to announce much for that, I don't think. We are going to go for a Fatal 4-Way ladder match. That's all I'm going to say for now. Who's in it? I've got no idea. I've not decided yet. But, of course, the champion, Jushin Thunder Liger, will definitely be in there. And then, yeah, the rest are going to be a little bit random. I'm assuming probably Rey Mysterio. Who else have we got? Who else do we have? We've got Psycho. I want Psychosis, but nobody seems to have made a Psychosis. I just assume that Psychosis and Juventud Guerrero would be 2 that would be quite easy to find, but they're not on the community creations for the PlayStation. So I might have to have another look, because I know a couple of people have commented recently that a couple of people that I have been looking for are now online, including I think Raymond Rowe for, is it Raymond Rowe? For Ring of Honor should be on there now, so I'll have to have a look at that. And then obviously I want Psychosis and Juventude and another one that's been mentioned me a couple of days ago. I can't remember who it was I mentioned it, but thank you if you are watching, is Ultimo Dragon for our Cruiserweight division here on Raw is War. D'Lo Brown with a pin, and it's only enough for a 2 count. Of course, D'Lo this year is going to be a member of the Nation of Domination, so, oh, as my microphone collapses. So, yeah, this will be interesting now. I'm interested to see what actually happens with Nation. I've not really used them as much yet. I think I have, well, obviously I have to change that. At the moment, I do have D'Lo and Khan and Mustafa down for a tag match at Backlash. Of course, if D'Lo wins here, that'll be changed, but that's what I've got penciled in at the moment against the team of Rikishi and Haku as part of the pre-show, just to try and basically the idea of the pre-show is just to try and use a few more guys in the pay-per-view, and of course it gives you an extra video as well. The pre-show is only going to have 3 matches on there, but still 3 matches on this game is still a good half an hour, which would be pretty good, and it gives you something to watch while you're waiting for the actual upload as well. Hopefully this weekend I'll be able to get quite a bit ahead, because like I've said before, I really need to get a lot of videos saved on my computer ready to go before we hit the G1 Climax for Global Force Wrestling, because that's going to take a lot out of me, that. Recording 2 episodes every single day. At the moment I'm recording 1 episode every single day, and it literally is taking my entire evening to do so. So doing 2 episodes a day is just not going to be possible. Finlay taking D'Lo up. Tombstone power driver there. D'Lo looks down and out. Finlay must go for the pin. Rolls in. 1, 2, and there you go. Fit Finlay is going on to face Eddie Guerrero at Backlash for the European Championship. He's going to try to reclaim that European Championship for the British Bruisers himself, and of course William Regal, that tag team. Regal will also be involved in a championship match. Of course, he's going to be defending his Intercontinental Championship against the winner of a match later on this evening between DDP and Chris Jericho. That's a match that the computer actually had already built into this card, and I must admit the booking system on this game is really good. They do bring up some really good matches, and that was one of them. I do keep quite a few of the matches actually this year, whereas before I never did. Regal versus Kevin Nash later on as well, that was already booked by the game. So it's going to be interesting. Now I'm a big fan of DDP, and I did have him last year as part of a tag team, the Jersey Triad, alongside Bam Bam Bigelow, which was great, but I really wanted this year to use him as more of a singles competitor, so I have still got the tag team on the go, but it's I think it's Shane Douglas, Just Incredible, and Bam Bam Bigelow as the triple threat, I believe. And that has freed up DDP to go more single style, so this evening's going to be his first opportunity at going for a to get himself into a championship match, really. And there we go, Finlay victorious. He is going on, like I said, to Backlash in a couple of days' time to face off against Eddie Guerrero for the European Championship. So, like I said, that should be uploaded Sunday morning. Be sure to keep an eye out for that. Just one of many big matches on that card. And our second match this evening is going to be The Undertaker taking on Rikishi. And here we go. So great to have an American badass Undertaker on this game. I know we had to actually use a created Undertaker last year. We still had a current day Taker, and we had like a retro roster Taker, but I wanted to have an Taker basically looked exactly like this one for our Attitude Era. So this year it's great to have one. It's great to have Rikishi on the game as well, because without trying to insult Rikishi, it's very difficult to create guys on this game of Rikishi's size and girth, shall we say. I downloaded towards the end of 2K15, I downloaded a Yokozuna core, and that's an idea, Yokozuna. I wonder if there's a decent core of Yokozuna this year. If there is, I might look at that for the retro roster. Sorry, this is the problem with me recording the audio while I'm recording the video. My mind just goes off in different tangents. So Yeah, it was. It's difficult to create people on the game with Rikishi's body shape that look good, because the game was designed to make everyone look muscly, no matter what size you were, which was not a very good way of doing it, really. So by having Rikishi on the game is great. Also, we're going to get Earthquake and Typhoon as part of the downloadable content, and that's one that... Those are two guys that I always download on these games. I don't know why. They're not exactly my favourite wrestlers, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, it's great to have them. It's an extra tag team as well, so that'd be pretty good for our retro roster. And we're going to get the Bushwhackers as well this year. And the Bushwhackers, again, somebody that I like to have on the game, but I can never really use them normally because of the way they act in the ring, their personalities. It doesn't come across very well in the... If you just create them yourselves, you can't create their personality and obviously just the way they walk and the way they enter and things like that. So to have them as downloadable content is great. I still don't think the dates have actually been released yet for when the downloadable content is coming, which is slightly annoying me because it's not letting me plan things out. Rikishi hitting a Rikishi driver in for the pin. He goes 1, 2. Oh, and the Undertaker kicks out. I tell you what, that would have been interesting, that. If Rikishi had pinned the Undertaker here, that would have been quite an insane... Well, it wouldn't be that insane, but it'd be very... It wouldn't be what we'd expected, shall we say. We just did it again. 1, 2... And the Undertaker kicks out once again. Wow. I can't believe how well Rikishi's doing here. Undertaker with a big right hand now. Forcing Rikishi to the floor and dropping a big stomp across his chest. Like I said, I'm surprised how well that Rikishi's doing here, but can he actually go all the way and finish the Undertaker off? That could be taken two ways, couldn't it, really? If not, though. Rikishi with the pin once again. Again, it's only enough for a 2 count. Rikishi with the kick to the back and now stamping on the chest of the Undertaker. Is Rikishi going up top? Oh my god, the Undertaker's going to die. Rikishi up top, went for the big splash and Taker rolled out the way just in time. Luckily enough. Taker now bringing Rikishi back up to his feet. Has him by the neck, and all the damage that Rikishi's done is not going to be enough here. As the Undertaker with a pin after the chokeslam. 1, 2. Really? Rikishi is kicked out of that. Rikishi's just kicked out of a chokeslam from the Undertaker. Oh, it might not matter though. Taker taking Rikishi up for his last ride. In for the pin he goes, and 1, 2, and surely... Okay. Okay. So, essentially the Undertaker's kicked out of 2 Rikishi drivers, and Rikishi's kicked out of a chokeslam and a last ride. This game is giving us a spectacular match here on Friday Night Raw is War for the Attitude Era. And just how much longer going to go on for? I would imagine. Like I say, both guys have really damaged each other. Rikishi though, another Rikishi driver dead center of the ring. Is this going to be enough to finally finish Taker off? In for the pin. 1, 2, and 3. Rikishi picks up a huge victory here over the American Badass, the Undertaker. I think I'm not quite sure what to do with Rikishi yet. I weren't 100% sure. I think I want to try and do at some point a 6-man Hell in a Cell match, as you do in the Attitude Era, and of course Rikishi was part of that. So I'm wondering whether Rikishi could actually be involved in the championship picture here in the Attitude Era. with victories like that over The Undertaker, there's no reason why he shouldn't be at the top of the card in the main event picture. Like I said, at the moment, he's involved with a tag team alongside Haku, but as the head, I think it was the Head Shrinkers, I think. But there's no reason why he can't be involved in more singles competition as well. Intercontinental Championship, maybe European Championship as well. But I think in the long term, there might be a chance for him to actually go for one of the main championships here on the Attitude Era. Of course, be sure to keep an eye out on the current day roster because you never know when Rikishi might pop his head out. No spoilers, but I'm pretty sure you can probably guess where and who it will be with. But that's something that we might bring in at some point in the universe mode. I'm sure I've got that down on my list somewhere, haven't I? Yep, that's on my list now, so I don't forget it. Yeah, but what a great victory this has been for Rikishi. Really gives us something to think about in this universe mode. Oh my god, he dances. Oh, I've not actually used this Rikishi before. That's the first time I've used Rikishi in this game altogether. And I did not realise that this was his... Oh yeah. I'll tell you what, you give him the championship and make him do that, and that's just going to be... That is gold right there. That is ratings right there. Yep, Rikishi's getting used a lot more now. And our next match here this evening is going to be the Falls Count Anywhere match to become the #1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship as DDP takes on Chris Jericho. And here we go. We know one of these two men are going on to face off against William Regal in a couple of days' time at Backlash. But who will it be? Like I said, I think Jericho is probably the stronger of these two guys, I would reckon, in the ring. But I really wanted to give DDP a much bigger chance this year. As I said, this is not a match that I've created. This is one the game already had on this card. And I saw it and thought, you know what? Why not? It looks pretty good. Plus, it fit into this theme perfectly as well. So, I'm really happy with this one. I am really, really happy with this one. And it's going to be very interesting to who wins. And I'm quite happy if either of these two guys win. But to tell the truth, I want to see both of their entrances. I really want to see... I've just seen a little bit of Jericho's entrance because I forgot to switch it off on this match. And yeah, they're really good entrances. Of course, remember, Falls Count Anywhere, no disqualifications as well. So weapons are allowed. As Jericho taking out the legs of Diamond Dallas Page. That sounded slightly Australian then, didn't it? Taking out the legs of Diamond Dallas Page. Now rolling him over. In the knee drop. I don't know, I've got Australian all of a sudden. My Australian accent isn't too good, really. Jericho with the pin. Oh, there's not even a 1 count there for Jericho with Diamond Dallas Page. And, yeah, I'm just... I wrote my other things on that one. So I'm still writing ideas down on the in my book for things that I want to do. And I'm just remembering some of the things that I liked when I was younger. And one thing that I'm just writing on my list now that I really liked at that age was a feud between Sting and Vampiro. I don't know why, but Sting and Vampiro in WCW, that feud was sort of like just going on when I first started watching WCW. And it was a really interesting feud. And it was the same sort of thing with... it's the same sort of thing as well with Cactus Jack. The very first feud I ever remember watching in wrestling was Cactus Jack versus Triple H, Hell in a Cell in 2000, and it was 2000, was it, I think? Yeah, it was a great pay-per-view, and it was so disappointing because I became a massive Mick Foley fan, and then within 6 weeks of watching wrestling, he retired. So that was pretty gutting. So, but still, it was great to see. Obviously, I've watched all the old stuff now. I've watched all the old Hell in a Cell matches against the Undertaker and people like that. Diamond Dallas Page with that spinning powerbomb on the outside, and Jericho landed on that chair as well. It was nearly enough to finish him off. But this match still continues. So yeah, it was just one thing that I really liked. That's why one of the first random matches we uploaded was Cactus Jack versus Triple H in the Hell in a Cell, because, like I said, that takes me back to my roots. That takes me back to when I started watching wrestling, and it was really, I enjoyed doing that. I think the Hell in a Cell match has improved this year, actually. Jericho with a pin on Diamond Dallas Page again, only enough for a 2 count. Both of these guys will be hoping to win this match at all costs, but at the same time, they want to make sure they're not taking too much damage into the match against William Regal at Backlash. And I'm pretty sure, as the referee gets taken out there by DDP, I'm pretty sure that no matter who wins or loses this match, both these guys will probably be on the card somewhere at Backlash. I do have one space left, and I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do with it yet, but I'm thinking maybe a Fatal 4-Way match just to get some of the other guys on the card that are not currently booked in matches. So, like at the moment, I don't think The Undertaker or Kane are booked into matches. I don't think Shawn Michaels or Triple H are booked into matches. So I think those 4 guys, yeah, they're a pretty good chance of getting themselves into a Fatal 4-Way match. And there's the Diamond Cutter by DDP, and maybe, just maybe, DDP is the #1 contender here. 1, 2, and 3. DDP is the #1 contender for William Regal's Intercontinental Championship. He's going on to face him at Backlash in 2 days' time. And Chris Jericho will be disappointed here because he really did want to get the Intercontinental Championship. Because, again, when I was younger, Chris Jericho really was the Intercontinental Championship. He dominated that part of the company. I think it came to a point where he dominated that part of the company, and then the Radicals and Angle and all them sort of debuted, and then all of a sudden, I'll tell you what, that was when the Intercontinental Championship was at its best. When you had Jericho, Benoit, Angle, Guerrero, that was a real amazing time for the Intercontinental Championship. But like I said, we'll find something for Jericho at Backlash. I'm thinking, like I was saying earlier, maybe Triple H. I'm not too keen on having Shawn Michaels in there as well, because Triple H and Shawn Michaels, of course, are going to be together in DX. So I'm thinking maybe Triple H, maybe Jericho, maybe The Undertaker, and maybe one more, maybe Bret Hart, or maybe Goldberg. Both of those guys are not on our card yet for Backlash, so there's space for all of those. So yeah, we'll have a look and see what we have planned in. But like I said, it's going to be DDP versus William Regal. We know that for sure now. We're going to get a little bit of DDP yoga at Backlash. And for anyone who thinks yoga is easy, I challenge you to give a go to DDP's yoga. It is not easy at all. I have done it. I have got them all on my computer, and it was a bit more difficult than I ever expected it to be, I'm not going to lie. And our next match here this evening is going to be sort of like a taster of what we're going to see at Backlash, as the current tag team champions, the world's greatest tag team, Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas, take on the Dudley Boyz in an elimination tag match. And here we go with the prelude of a match we're going to see, of course, at Backlash for the championships, as the world's greatest tag team will defend against the Dudley Boyz. Of course, this evening, this is an elimination tag match, so we're going to have to see both members of one team either pinned or submit for this match to finish. Now again, this is one of the matches that the game came up with itself, which I thought was pretty clever of it. I don't think it knows that it's the Dudley Boyz versus the world's greatest tag team at Backlash, because of course it doesn't allow you to create your own #1 contendership matches. I do try, whenever I remember, when there is a #1 contendership match, I will move the guy who won the match up the rankings. But it's not always as simple as that, really. The game still likes to go outside the box, as we all know, but that's a good thing. We like the game to go outside the box, because then it doesn't become too repetitive, and that's why I'm trying to keep as many of these matches that the game books themselves as possible. And if you remember, we actually saw the Dudley Boyz win last week. They defeated the Hardy Boyz. Or did they? Yes, they did. The Dudley Boyz defeated the Hardy Boyz in a #1 contendership match to gain that championship match at Backlash. So if they were to win here again this evening against the tag team champions, they would pick up that all-important boost in momentum, which might be enough to take them through. Take them through into actually taking the championships at Backlash. Just trying to look at some of the other ones. Well, of course, Rock and Austin as well both picked up big victories last week, winning their #1 contendership matches, and that's what we're going to see this evening. Our main event, if you have forgotten since the beginning of the video, it is going to be our WWE Champion Batista and our World Heavyweight Champion Edge taking on the WWE Championship #1 contender Stone Cold Steve Austin and the World Heavyweight Championship #1 contender The Rock. Two big main events we have for you booked in a Backlash then. Like I said, The Rock versus Edge and Austin versus Batista. And I must say, going into that pay-per-view, I'm feeling that the challengers have to be the favourites for both of those matches. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I like I do like the idea of having 2 championships up for grabs in the main event. I'm not sure what you guys think about it, but I honestly like it because it allows us to use a lot more people. Like I said, if we only had 1 championship, then of course there'd only be 2 guys fighting for a championship at the pay-per-view rather than 4 guys. And of course, as it gets later on, we can start doing like fatal 4-ways and 6-man elimination chambers or Hell in a Cell, things like that. So it means we're going to have a lot more people involved in that main event picture. And of course, after Backlash, we can finally start to put our first feuds in. Which is going to be interesting. I've not even got in my mind yet who our first feuds could be. I generally want to wait until after the pay-per-view, just in case something happens at the pay-per-view that we can work off of and use. But of course, if you have any suggestions for feuds that you think would work, then please let me know in the comment section below. Of course, I won't get a chance to probably use them all in the first month, but I will keep them all noted down and hopefully use as many as I can in the future. And of course, while I'm taking suggestions, of course, don't forget we are doing our random match series as well. Trying to upload 1 random match every single day. So if you guys have any ideas for random matches you would like to see again, drop them down in the comment section below. I do read them all, so I will hopefully get around to using them all. My list is getting very, very big now of matches that I need to record. So there might be a little bit of a wait on some matches, but hopefully not too much. I've had a couple more today, I think, as well. Just trying to think of who they were off the top of my head. I've got a piece of paper somewhere that I brought home from work with me, and it's got them on there. There's my piece of paper. Let's have them open up and see what it said. Come over my piece of paper. I think Kyrie Bellick, you suggested Okada versus Mil Muertes. That's not a bad idea, actually. I quite like that one. Might even record that after this episode if I've got enough time. And of course, I've had some more great ideas from Jay as well. Which we'll have to try and work through. There's a lot to do. I would love to have more core slots. I really would. I can't see why you can't. And I know I know 2K have said they can only have 100 because of how much strain it is on the system and things like that. But no matter how many core slots you've got, you can still only have 6 guys in the ring at the same time. So there's not that much strenuous activity on the game itself. So I'm not sure why we can't have more. It should be down to the limit on the PlayStation or the Xbox in my opinion. But there we go. I would love to have more, but we've got 100 to work with, and of course 100 is not bad. Once we've got 120 guys on the game base, and we're gonna get probably another 30 odd through downloadable content. So yeah, we're gonna have like 250 guys in the game by the end, which should be enough really. But I think once we start to get some of the downloadable content in, then we can probably replace some guys that we've got downloaded, because the rosters will get bigger and we won't need them all really. Shelton Benjamin, I missed that. Benjamin has been busted open. Devon Dudley taking Benjamin up and into that pile driver. Devon in with a pin. 1, 2. And there you go. Shelton Benjamin has been eliminated. We are down to the Dudley Boyz versus Charlie Haas. And yeah, could this be a prelude to what's going to happen at Backlash on Sunday? Could we have brand new tag team champions in the form of the Dudley Boyz? A team that held the Combat Zone Wrestling Tag Team Championships in our 2K15 universe mode did debut in the Attitude Era, but never managed to get a hold of the championship. So it's going to be great. Like I said, I'm really enjoying this universe mode because it is very different to what we did in 2K15. We've got brand new champions. Like Edge never held the women's champion. No, Edge never held the women's championship. Edge never held a main event championship in 2K15. Neither did Batista either. So to see both those guys, neither did The Rock or Austin, believe it or not. I think in our 2K15 universe mode, it only lasted about 5 months. I'm going to say that. 5 months of uploading at least one video every day. That's crazy, isn't it? And I'm still carrying on now. Yes, we had, I think Shawn Michaels held the championship for him. I think The Rock actually did start the universe mode with the belt. He lost it in the very first pay-per-view to Kurt Angle. And then I think Kurt Angle lost it in the second pay-per-view to Shawn Michaels. And then Shawn Michaels held the belt until the very end. So yeah, Undertaker never held the championship. Triple H never held it. Austin never held it. The Rock held it for about 2 weeks. So yeah, it's going to be great to see different people involved in the main event this year. And guys that we would expect more, like the Dudley Boyz, you would expect them to be involved in the Tag Team Championship picture quite a lot. And I think I want to try and use the World's Greatest Tag Team as well as part of... We've got Kurt Angle as well, haven't we? Don't forget about Kurt Angle. Maybe we'll have to use him at Backlash as well. Yeah, I want to try and use Haas and Benjamin maybe as part of a feud involving Kurt Angle. Maybe we could do... I think I mentioned this the other day. Maybe Kurt Angle versus Triple H in a feud. And we could use Kurt Angle and the World's Greatest Tag Team versus Triple H and the New Age Outlaws. Some of them sort of lines. I like that as a main event one week on Monday Night Raw. The only problem is I have recorded, or I started recording a 6-man tag match before on a random match on Fast Momentum. The match got over an hour and it was still going on. It was an elimination match. No eliminations happened in the first hour, so I had to stop recording in the end. As Bubba Ray Dudley with a pin after the Bubba Cutter, but Charlie Haas showing resilience, kicking out of that one. I thought Charlie Haas might have been down and out there. He's been dominated so far in this match, of course, on his own since Shelton Benjamin was eliminated. And I don't know how Haas is going to come back into this one, to tell the honest truth. Because as soon as he's going to go for a pin or a submission, you know that Devon's going to come straight in the match and try and block it off. And Haas now... Haas is going for a big swing. Bubba does not look happy. There's the pin by Charlie Haas. And speaking of the World's Greatest Tag Team, as Haas goes for the pin. 1, 2, and there you go. Devon Dudley, like I was saying, in to break it up in time. Speaking of Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin, I have had the suggestion yesterday from Tony Wilson to do a match which I was thinking of doing. It's a really good match. I'm so glad he suggested it. The World's Greatest Tag Team versus Jason Jordan and Chad Gable. So I'll hopefully be doing that one as well pretty soon. I'm looking forward to the weekend. Let's just say that. I've got the whole weekend to myself. And I'm going to be doing nothing but recording all weekend, hopefully, just to get ahead. I've not played Fallout 4 in 2 weeks. But I'm still managing to upload an episode every single day. So I need to do some more Fallout 4 this weekend. Because I'm running out of episodes of that now. And then, of course, I need to try and get as far ahead as possible with the universe mode. And, like I said, we're going to be uploading a random match every single day as well. So hopefully going to get probably 7 random matches recorded over the weekend as well. Just so I can keep them all on my computer ready to go. That's going to be the key for me now, is just getting ahead of myself. The far enough I get ahead of myself, the more I can guarantee having our upload every single day. I think since last Saturday, I think I've actually done okay. I've had every single episode uploaded of our universe mode by 8 o'clock in the morning. Normally earlier, because I generally put them up to upload when I go to bed at about 11 o'clock midnight, and I think they go on by about 4 or 5 in the morning. Which means if you're American, you're probably getting those probably about 10, 11 o'clock in the evening, the day before. You lucky buggers, you get the day before. Charlie Haas with that clubbing blow across the back of Devon Dudley. And there's that slam. And I'll tell you what, Charlie Haas is taking control of this match. But I don't think he's going to do very well, surely because of Shelton Benjamin being eliminated. Only a 2 count there on Devon. We thought he might have had a chance. Drop kick to the back there by Charlie Haas on Devon Dudley. Now Haas bringing Devon into the middle of the ring. Looking for a submission here. He does. I do like that I'm not quite sure what that is. I do like it though. It's almost like a clover leaf. I'm not quite sure what it's called. It's not an Indian Deathlock, is it? No. Oh, Haas nearly eliminated Devon Dudley there. Bubba was so slow into the ring. And if Haas can equal the numbers up here, he might have a great chance. Remember, like I was saying, to get a little bit more technical into this game, if the Dudley Boys were to win, they would then have 2 victories on the trot, which would give the momentum boost going into Backlash, which I'm sure Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin would prefer the Dudley Boys not to have. Well, that Haas was going to go up top then, but as Devon started to stir, Haas decided against it. Clubbing blow across the back of Devon Dudley now, looking to hoist him up top. Devon with a double axe handle on Charlie Haas. Now roll him over in the clover. I don't know why. Just forget that happened. Gut wrench suplex there by Devon Dudley on Charlie Haas. And Devon, instead of going for the pin like he probably should, that he's going to come across and bring in Bubba Ray. Now there's one thing that frustrates me slightly about this the Dudley Boys on this game, is that Devon looks really good, but I'm just not keen on Bubba. But it's the best one on the community creation at the moment. And I just don't know, his face just, for me, just doesn't look spot on. It looks good, but it just does not look spot on. But it's definitely usable. And of course, we will be bringing the Dudley Boys into our current day roster at some point as well. The problem is we've got so many tag teams on the current day roster, it's difficult for them to get a chance, really. I think what I'm trying to do is, if guys are working more than one roster at the same time, if they do have championships, I'm trying to avoid bringing them into a different show at the same time as well. And there's Bubba with a Bubba bomb, and come on Bubba, go for the pin, there he goes. 1, 2, and 3, and what a great victory this is for the Dudley Boys. They're going to take a huge amount of momentum now into our Backlash pay-per-view as they fight it off against the world's greatest tag team for the tag team championships. You know what, I'm seriously considering gimmicking that match up a little bit. I'm not quite sure what yet. What's available? We've got Extreme Rules, which could work. I don't know, I don't think Extreme Rules really suits the world's greatest tag team, neither does Table really, or I think world's greatest tag team are only really suited to normal matches. I might save the gimmicking if the Dudley Boys do win the championships, then we can easily gimmick it up afterwards. I'm thinking maybe Dudleys versus Hardys in a ladder match. Can you still do tag team ladder matches on this game? I'm not entirely sure, I hope so. Be pretty good, Dudleys versus Hardys in ladder match, or Dudleys versus Hardys in elimination table match, or that sort of thing would work really, really well. Of course, we will see some new tag teams. I say new, they're not exactly new. They're just ones we haven't used as of yet. We're going to see them at Backlash. Who have I got noted down at the moment? Of course, like I said, I'm going to have D'Lo Brown and Kama Mustafa taking on Rikishi and Haku. That's going to be in the pre-show. Also in the pre-show, we're going to have Sabu defending his Hardcore Championship. And we will have the Hardy Boys facing off against the New Age Outlaws. So first time seeing the New Age Outlaws in this game as well. And on the main card, of course, we have the world's greatest tag team defending their championships against the Dudleys. We're going to have 3 big tag matches for you at Backlash across the pre-show and the full show as well. So Dudley Boys, like I said, there's some saying Devon's really good, but Bubba's a little bit dodgy. But either way, great victory for them. They are going on with all the momentum to face off against the world's greatest tag team at Backlash. And our next match here this evening is going to see our current Intercontinental Champion, William Regal, taking on Kevin Nash. And here we go, we are underway. And boy, does Regal need a bit of momentum going forward into Backlash. Of course, Regal lost his European Championship last week against Eddie Guerrero. Another loss here for him would be 2 losses on the trot, which of course would give him a downgrade. I think it's like called a cold streak or something like that in the status effects. And I'm actually really enjoying these status effects. I just want to see how long they last for, because of course things like momentum stack up to 10. So I wonder what that means. So momentum, you get 2 victories, you get a momentum boost, and it stacks up to 10. So so you would need to win 20 matches on the trot to get full momentum. But if you lose 1 match, do you lose all your momentum? Which is a possibility, or does it just go down one by one? I'll have to have a look and just see how it all works. But I think it's been better because last year momentum had a bit too much of an effect, and it was so difficult to get somebody's momentum down as well that, like I said, it really did just make the game struggle a little bit. People became far too dominant far too easily. So yeah, momentum's a good thing this year. I think it's going to be a bit more effective. But I would like, when we get a bit further into the universe mode, when momentum has taken a little bit of an effect, and that should make it a little bit easier for us to make the universe mode a bit more stable. Because I noticed that last year, of course, in the first few weeks of the universe mode, championships change hands so much. But once people with a higher momentum start to get hold of the championships and defend them, that's when it starts to become a bit more stable. Like so, we saw Chris Hero successfully defend his Ring of Honor Heavyweight Championship last week at our first pay-per-view, Mystery Vortex. And he'd already won a big match before that, and then he went on to win another big match on Ring of Honor television yesterday. So he is now starting to look pretty strong. And I think after you've won 3 matches, I'm assuming that he's going to be pretty good and pretty strong at and probably keep a hold of that championship for quite a long time. There's a rather weird smell in my flat all of a sudden. I had just put the oven on. In between these last two matches, I put the oven on to start cooking my dinner, and it does smell pretty funky right now. There you go. Oh, Regal. Regal's going for a Regal plex here straight away on Kevin Nash. Has the leg hooked. 1, 2. Oh, Regal nearly had Kevin Nash then. And I like the fact that this year they've given Regal a stat boost, because last year it was a bit comical. They put him down like an 82 or 83. I can't remember what it was now because I changed it straight away. But I think this year he starts the game straight away on an 87, which is good because that puts him perfect sort of level really for the Intercontinental and European Championships. And of course I think the Intercontinental Championship is regarded a little bit higher than the European, but they're both pretty good. Kevin Nash with that big punch. I think that might be one of his finisher maneuvers. It might be one of his signatures. Rolling over William Regal. 1, 2. Oh, and Regal kicks out there. I've just realised what time it is. Bloody hell, where's my evening gone? I've still got 2 more matches to record after this, and I've got to edit it. It's going to be a late one, I think. I just want to say once again to all you guys out there who watch my videos, thank you very much for watching my videos. I know I'm gaining a lot of brand new subscribers over the last few weeks, so if you are new to the channel, then thank you very much for finding us, and hopefully you're enjoying the content. And of course, if you are someone that's been watching my videos for a very long time, then again, thank you very much. I know Jay must have been one of my first 100 subscribers, and he's been watching ever since. So yeah, I really do appreciate all of you guys. Thank you very much for all of the views, the subs, and of course the likes as well. It's really helping my channel grow, and I think the more my channel grows, the easier it's going to be to find, and of course the better sort of content I can hopefully put out as well. As Kevin Nash picks up a big victory here over the Intercontinental Champion William Regal. And Regal is really not looking in very good condition going through into Backlash. But Nash, on the other hand, Nash has picked up a good victory here. And again, Nash is somebody who's not already booked in for anything at Backlash. I'm starting to think we need to have more matches on our pre-show maybe. We've already got 3 matches on the pre-show and 7 matches on the main card. And even with all of that, we've got no Sting, no Goldberg, no Triple H, no Shawn Michaels, no Kevin Nash. But then again, they're not all going to face off on every single card. That's why I've got the 2 championships on the go, just to be able to use more. I think next month we'll definitely make sure that at least one of our championship matches is going to be like a fatal 4-way or a triple threat, just to get more people involved. Maybe I might just, I don't know, I'll see what happens at Backlash, see who wins what, and then from there on we can maybe look at increasing the amount of people in certain things. You know what, I don't know whether we should add Kevin Nash into the Intercontinental Championship match. I really don't. I'm not sure. The fact that he's just beat Regal here makes me think that he should be involved, but at the same time I don't really see Nash as being an Intercontinental Champion. You know what? You tell me in the comment section below. You say to me yay or nay. Do you want to see Kevin Nash in the Intercontinental Championship match alongside Regal and DDP on Sunday at Backlash? Or would you rather see that match just stay as Regal versus Diamond Dallas Page? You let me know in the comment section below. And what the majority vote is what we will do at Backlash this weekend. But either way, a great victory here for Big Daddy Kevin Nash. So yeah, like I said, let me know in the comment section below, what do you want to see? And once we've decided, that's what I'll put down on my card. And here is our next match here this evening. It's going to be Sting taking on Psycho Sid. And here we go. A very WCW-inspired match again. Of course, you can see both of these guys down in the Retro roster as well. Of course, Retro roster being uploaded tomorrow morning. Of course, Sting, we have a different version of the Sting. We have the Retro Sting. But Psycho Sid, we're using the same version. I really like this Psycho Sid core. I wasn't a massive fan of Psycho Sid, but the cores we've managed to get for him in the last 2 years have been so good that I really can't help but just continue to use him. And it really is a great addition to both rosters. And I think at some point we will get him involved in the championship picture for one of the belts here on the Attitude Era. I keep saying we're going to get a lot of people in. We will do eventually. Like I said, we're going to be going for a long time on this universe mode. I do hopefully want to try and get to a point where I might be able to upload a full week's worth of Universe Mode in one day, just to try and catch up a little bit with the real day, current day roster sort of thing. But ideally we're going to get to at least WrestleMania in this one, which, as you can probably tell by my calendar, is pretty stacked. That we're going to have probably, to get to WrestleMania, I reckon we're going to upload about 400 videos of the Universe Mode. And given that all these videos are over an hour each, I've got a hell of a lot of work to do over the next year. I really have. But like I said, as long as you guys are enjoying it, I will continue to do it all. I'm enjoying doing it at the moment, so there's no reason why I shouldn't. Like I said, I want to try and get as far ahead as I possibly can. This week, I'm going to try and get about a week ahead this weekend, which is going to be a lot of work. It's going to be like a full 2 days, sort of like 8 or 9 hours work each day. But by doing that, it means I can have a free week to do the G1 Climax Festival. Like I said, that's going to be the difficult thing for me. But yeah, that's going to be really good. I'm enjoying. I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be good. Sting with a powerbomb there on Sid Vicious. Not what we're expecting. We're expecting powerbombs the other way, but Psycho Sid manages to kick out of that one. Ah, Manchester United have just followed me on Twitter. That's a strange one, isn't it? Very strange. Very, very strange. Anyway. Psycho Sid stalking the grounded Sting. Like I said, I want to try and do Sting versus Vampiro at some point in a feud, obviously culminating in some sort of... I would have liked to do an Inferno match, but I think they've taken the Inferno match out of this game, which is a bit of a shame. I did like the Inferno matches. I used a couple on 2K15, I think. But yeah, I think there actually was a match in WCW. I think it was the culmination of the feud between Sting and Vampiro. Was that like a Human Torch match? So it was the first person to set the other person on fire. Oh, Sting grabs that bottom rope. Psycho Sid could not believe it. He thought he had this one won. Referee did a very good job to spot it from there. He wasn't in the best position to spot it, but he did get it. I thought Sid was going to go for a jackknife then, but taking Sting up and dropping him down. In for the pin goes Sid. 1, 2... And there's a victory for Psycho Sid over Sting. Great win for Sid. Like I said, I think he's going to do well this year, but I must say he surprised me with that victory. And I'm thinking, I don't know. I do not know. I just do not know. I'll tell you what, I'm pretty going to take a lot of notice to the rankings this year. Hopefully the rankings are going to work better than 2K15 rankings were stupid because they just didn't change. I'm sure they didn't. They would, you'd have someone who's 42nd get a victory over someone who was second in the rankings and no one would move. Then you get someone who's like 42nd beating someone who's 41st and they get hoisted up the rankings 20 places. It just did not make any sense whatsoever. So I think if the rankings are working better this year, we'll definitely have to keep an eye on them. But like I say, it's a big victory here for Sid. Sid did lose last week to Kevin Nash. One thing I forgot to mention now is that obviously Nash has 2 victories on the trot. So Nash is going to have a nice little bit of momentum going forward into Backlash as well. No, sorry, I take it back. Sid beat Nash last week, so Sid is now sitting on 2 victories, one after the other. And you know what? Sid has to be on our card for Backlash. So I'm thinking maybe that Fatal 4-Way match could involve Sid somewhere. I'm thinking maybe Sid versus Taker versus Angle versus Triple H. How does that sound? Does that sound alright? Sid has to be in there because Sid has won 2 matches on the trot now, and I think you'd have to maybe get him involved in one of the championships as well. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to stop babbling. Let's get straight into our next match. Now, of course, our next match here this evening is our main event, and it's going to be the WWE Champion Batista and the World Heavyweight Champion Edge taking on the #1 contenders of The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. I did a very good job of saying all that before the loading screen finished, didn't I? It was you guys didn't see how close that was. Literally, as I uttered the last syllable, the screen changed. I did really well there. Yeah, but like I was saying, this is going to be champions versus challengers. So we've got Batista, the current WWE Champion. He'll be facing off against Stone Cold Steve Austin at Backlash for that belt. And of course, we've got The Rock, who is the #1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship. And he'll be facing Edge at Backlash. And I must admit, I am really looking forward to I'm really looking forward to Edge versus The Rock. I think that's going to be a really good match. And as will Batista versus Stone Cold Steve Austin as well. 2 first time matches, I believe. I don't think any of these guys have ever met in the ring before. So yeah, it's going to be pretty damn good, that. I mean, of course, we've got Regal versus DDP for the Intercontinental Championship, and maybe Kevin Nash, depending on what you guys want to see. Jushin Liger defending his Cruiserweight Championship in a fatal 4-way ladder match. The world's greatest tag team defending their tag team championships against the Dudley Boyz. Obviously, Guerrero versus Finlay for the European Championship. And then down on the pre-show, we've got D'Lo and Kama Mustafa taking on Rikishi and Haku. We've got Sabu defending his Hardcore Championship. Not sure against who yet, but I'm thinking maybe Sandman, maybe Rob Van Dam, maybe Taz, maybe some of them sort of lines. And of course, we're going to have the Hardy Boys versus the New Age Outlaws. I'm thinking, you know what, I'm thinking I could squeeze another match on that pre-show. I really am. We've got so many really great guys that are not on that card as yet that I'm thinking we might be able to squeeze something in. Maybe we'll have a main event at the pre-show. How does Shawn Michaels versus Sting sound to you guys? Shawn Michaels versus Sting as the main event on our pre-show. I like that idea. You know what? I'm gonna knock that down. You know, Sting versus Michaels for the pre-show. It gives us a great match to finish the pre-show on, and it also builds up for our big main card as well. Really looking forward to it. It's going to be a really good pay-per-view. The first pay-per-view we've done so far, Mystery Vortex, went down really well. We had some fantastic matches, and it got a lot of views as well. So I say thank you guys for that. Of course, it was uploaded a week ago now. It was uploaded a week ago, and it's over 200 views. So that's really good. I don't often get that many views on one video, so it's really, really do appreciate that. And like I said, it was a really successful pay-per-view. It did go on for an hour and a half. Of course, our Backlash pay-per-view, I think, is going to go on for the actual Backlash pay-per-view itself, probably roughly the same time. And then, of course, our pre-show is probably going to be about 30 to 45 minutes. So we're going to have that pay-per-view all together across the two videos. It's going to be over 2 hours long. So I'm hoping you guys are ready to sit back and relax and get all that viewed. I'll try and get it uploaded for you first thing on Sunday morning. So if you are struggling for things to do on Sunday, then of course you'll be able to watch that pay-per-view. And remember, we're only 2 days away from Backlash now, so the damage done here by Austin and The Rock against Batista is going to help Austin out in the future. And I think I really want to see that when we start to use the proper feuds here in the Attitude Era, and we can start to I've got a couple of the only place we've got feuds going on at the moment is the current day roster. And of course, we've started now on Global Force Wrestling as well. Next week, our feuds will start in the retro roster, and I know there are some feuds that lead to injuries and things like that as well, so that's something that I'm really looking forward to seeing how that works. I know you can like injure your opponent's arm or something like that, and then all of a sudden they start the next match with a weakened arm, which of course we're not going to see because I've taken all the HUD away, which I think is great to take all the HUD away, but I'll say that in a minute. But yeah, it just makes it's going to make it better if you've got maybe someone who is a submission specialist, someone like Kurt Angle. If Kurt Angle was to injure somebody's ankle and then go forward to the pay-per-view with the ankle lock, that would really make a lot of sense. So that'd be pretty good. So as I was saying about removing the HUD, I think removing the HUD is a really good thing because I don't want to know, and I don't want you guys to know as well, if at the moment, say, The Rock has got a rock bottom available for use, I don't want to know that, because then it might start to become a bit obvious of what's going to happen. So at the moment, everything happens as a surprise, especially with the capture finishes. That's one of the best things we've got so far. The capture finishes are, they're insane. Because you don't know when it's going to happen, because you don't know if anyone's got a finisher stored up. And the match we saw earlier between The Undertaker and Rikishi used 3 Rikishi drivers. When did he get them? So that's the main reason why I've turned the HUD off. And again, this match drops out to the outside, and this time Austin and The Rock trying to take Edge out the equation, but Edge managed to fight out really well there with that spinning heel kick. And how great is it to see The Rock and Austin as a tag team here on Monday Night Raw? This is a real sort of Attitude Era main event. You look back at some of the main events that happened on Raw and SmackDown, and you realise just how good some of those cards were. They were fantastic, and this is the sort of thing that could have happened. To say Edge and Batista taking on The Rock and Austin. Now, if this was 2K15, by now one of these two teams would have turned on each other. They really had a really good harmony of doing that on 2K15. If it happened all the time, they always turned on each other unless they were enemies. If they were enemies, they wouldn't turn each other. If anyone could understand that, then please answers on a postcard to my address. But there you go. It's a strange one. The guy in the front row's got a nice shirt on, hasn't he? I just realised everyone seems to be wearing wrestling shirts, apart from that guy who seems to have a blue shirt with the white dots on. Why has he not got a wrestling shirt on as well? It's a bit strange. And there was a bit of a hoo-ha before this game was released, because I'm pretty sure there was some screenshots of the NXT crowd, and they were showing a t-shirt of Charlotte Flair's t-shirt. So everyone assumed from that Charlotte was going to be in the game. So that's one thing that I've not actually seen the Charlotte shirt myself since the game has been released. So I don't know if they've taken that shirt out to stop anyone moaning or stuff like that. But yeah, like I say, I'm still bitter, as a lot of people are, about not having the 4 horsewomen on the game. It would have been absolutely great, and it would have saved us 4 cores to download as well, which would have been great. Batista with a 1 count over Austin. Nowhere near enough damage done as of yet to win this match. Austin lining Batista up here. Does Austin have something in his locker? He has a Stone Cold Stunner. Austin with a stunner on Batista. In for the pin he goes. 1, 2, and Edge, the ultimate opportunist, comes in and breaks up the pin. Austin now with the elbow to the grounded Batista, and The Rock has now taken Edge out of the equation as well. Batista with the boot to the stomach, and Austin returning with the boot to the stomach of his own. Big knee to the face there by Austin. And Batista takes him down with that arm drag. The referee has been taken out. Batista with a short spear there on Austin as well. Going in for the pin, but the referee was down. Now back up. Oh, and Edge did a fantastic job there in blocking off The Rock. But Austin did manage to kick out in the end. Clubbing blow across the back of Austin there by Batista. And now Edge sending The Rock over the top rope. And of course, whoever wins this match is going to take some momentum in. I'll tell you what would happen, actually, thinking about it, logically, is that... Oh, go on, Batista, go for the worm. Go for the worm. No, he's not going to go for the worm. Yeah, of course, last week we saw The Rock defeat Sting one-on-one. And we saw Austin defeat Goldberg, Angle, and The Undertaker in a Fatal 4 match. So both of those guys have picked up a victory. If they were to pick up another victory here this evening, both of them guys will get a momentum boost. So it's really in Batista and Edge's interest to make sure that they do not lose this match, because they don't want The Rock and Austin. The Rock and Austin are going to be hard enough to defeat as it is, but with a momentum boost, they're going to be pretty invincible. Well, I can't hear what the crowd are chanting. I just can't hear, but there you go. Edge dropping Austin flat on his face. And I'm just so excited for this double main event this weekend. Like I said, Edge versus The Rock. Austin versus Batista. You can't get much better than that. I wonder if at some point, just going a little bit strange here. Think about this one. Maybe we could have the championships actually defended in a match like this. Maybe a big pay-per-view main event as a tag team match. Maybe Shawn Michaels and Triple H could be holding the WWE and World Heavyweight Championships between them. And then maybe we could do a tag match where they both defend their belts together against the team of just 2 random guys put together who want the championships. That's what we could definitely do. What do you guys think about that? Do you think that's a good idea maybe to do in the future at some point? Obviously not at the moment, just an idea of something we could do. Of course, we can't set the game to actually do a championship match like that, so I'd have to do it manually, and I would have to manually move the belts across after the match if they lose, of course. If they win, then I wouldn't have to. Edge dropping an elbow onto the inside of the knee of Austin. Clever move there, because we know that Austin has struggled in the past with knee injuries, hence why he wears... I was going to say hence why he wears the metal knee braces, but he's not actually wearing them in there. I'm not entirely sure I got the right Austin either. There's like so many Austins on this game. I'm sure I did. There's so many Austins on this game, it's difficult to make sure you keep getting the same one every week. I think we're using the 97 Austin because it's the highest rated. I think it's rated at 91. Rock now with a belly-to-belly slam on Edge. Pulls Edge into the middle of the ring. And he's looking for a sharpshooter, which he locks in on Edge. Austin's across quickly and does take Batista out. Batista seems to have glitched a little bit here. He seems to be... What is going on here, Batista? Batista finally stops glitching, and The Rock does not do enough to Edge to pick up the victory. And I'll tell you what, it could be interesting if The Rock was to pin Edge here, because it means he would actually get a pinfall over the champion he's going to face in a couple of days' time at Backlash. The Rock doing a fantastic job there, diving out of the way of the spear. Rock with a Samoan drop on Edge. Rolling Edge into the middle of the ring. I was going to go for the pin, but instead he slams the arm of Edge into the mat, now bringing Edge back up to his feet. The Rock looked for a scoop slam, but Edge slides out the back, and there's a backdrop. In for the pin he goes. 1, 2. It's only enough for a 2 count. The Rock kicks out of this one. Edge now with that head scissors. And now a couple of big elbows to the face of The Rock. Edge comes across and brings Batista into this match. The Rock has the arm of Batista twisted. Now Batista kicks away. And it looks like he's got The Rock up. Batista bomb. Huge move there, and that could be the end of The Rock. Batista in with a pin. 1, 2. Edge took out Austin, but The Rock managed to kick out of a Batista bomb. Batista with a big gutbuster backbreaker. Bringing The Rock back up to his feet once again. Oh, The Rock slides down and takes Batista over the top of his shoulders. Went for that scoop slam again, but again, his opponent managing to slide out the back. This time Batista, Edge and Austin fighting on the outside. The Rock sending Batista over the top of his shoulders. I would like to do a Batista versus The Undertaker feud at some point as well. Maybe that's something we can look at doing after Backlash. Especially if Batista keeps the championship. You see Rock here with a pin on Batista. And that's enough. The challengers, The Rock and Austin, pick up a victory over the champions, Edge and Batista. As we see some of the highlights, of course, Rock actually pinned the WWE champion Batista. Of course, on Sunday it's going to be Rock facing off against Edge and Austin versus Batista, but the momentum The Rock is going to have now going into that match against Edge, I did not want to be in Edge's shoes on Sunday at Backlash. And this is Edge taking Austin up on his shoulders. And there he is with that flapjack. Bringing Austin back into the middle of the ring and went in for the pin. Of course, that was not enough to win the match. That was very early on. That was only enough for a 1 count. And like I said, it's been really... I like what I've done on this game. What I've basically done is I've tried to... I've not necessarily used the most famous Attitude Era pay-per-views, but I've tried to use all the arenas that are currently on the game, because I think it gives us a much better show if you have all the arenas, because you get the you get all the special like replay signs, you get obviously the arena, you get all the stuff that you can do on Create a Show anyway, but you use the proper. You don't just use the logo, you use the whole sort of way of doing it. So I know what I mean. I'm hoping you guys know what I mean as well. So we are trying to use a lot more of the actual ones that are on the game. So I think after Backlash, our next pay-per-view is fully loaded. It's going to be pretty cool as well. Of course, that's going to be in week number 2 of next month, the week after our big G1 Climax Festival for Global Force Wrestling. Well, anyway, guys, that is the end of this episode. You see a handshake there between The Rock and Austin. Both these guys going to face it off for championships at Backlash on Sunday with a lot of momentum behind them. And like I said, be sure to keep an eye out for that. We will be uploading the pre-show first. That's going to be a 4-match card. Like I said, we're going to have D'Lo and Kama Mustafa taking on Rikishi and Haku. We're going to see Sabu defend his Hardcore Championship against probably Sandman, RVD, and Taz. We're going to have the Hardy Boys taking on the New Age Outlaws and Sting taking on Michaels. That's just the pre-show. Then on the main card, we've got another packed out 7 matches for you, including Guerrero defending his European Championship against Finlay, the world's greatest tag team defending their tag team championship with the Dudley Boys, Jushin Thunder Liger in a 4-way ladder match defending his Cruiserweight Championship, Regal defending his Intercontinental Championship against DDP and then maybe Kevin Nash if you guys so decide, Edge versus The Rock for the World Heavyweight Championship, Batista versus Austin for the WWE Championship, and like I say, there will be a big fatal 4-way match in there as well. I'm just trying to iron out in my mind who should be involved. Well, anyway, guys, that is the end of this video. I hope you've all enjoyed it. If you have, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. It does help me out a lot, and I do really appreciate them all. If you're not already, be sure to subscribe. There's a lot more 2K16 footage coming. We've got the Universe Mode daily. We're going to be doing random matches daily. We're going to be doing the My Career Mode and Showcase Mode pretty soon as well. And, of course, a little bit of Fallout 4 if you fancy dabbling in something a little bit different on this channel. I've been Shabby Gamer, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow for the Retro Rosters Saturday Night Main Event.